Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Today is Tuesday, December the 27th, 2022. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give this one a 7. It was good. It was solid. Let's move forward. We see Abby is going for a run and she looks over and she sees Chance there and they sit down and they talk and he asks her how was Christmas and she says, oh, we went and saw my mom and then we went over to my dad's. He says, I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what you're not saying. And she said, yeah, we went and we saw Devon as well. Yes, that did happen. And so he was like, okay, well, there's no reason to hide this. You can say that. So then we see Devon is with Lily and she comes over to his place because she wants to talk about going public. Jill still wants to do this and he's like, why would we still want to do this when I've already said, it's too risky. We already had someone try to take the company, so why would we want to give someone another chance to try to take the company away from us? And they said, um she said, it's not about when, it's not about if, it's when. And Devon is just like, no, I don't want to do this. And he said, I was talking to Tucker about it, and Lily was like, oh my gosh, you were talking to Tucker? It wasn't that long ago. You thought he was the one who was trying to take the company for us. And now you're letting him advise you. And he's like, he's not an advisor. I was just talking to him. And then, so he had to promise Lily that nothing's going on with him and Tucker. I said, see, this is how Tucker is going to get exactly what he wants. Devon and Ashley feel like they're not being heard. And that's how Tucker is going to work his way in. But anyways, he just tells Lily he's not comfortable going public. But she ain't trying to hear this because she wants to do it and Jill wants to do it. And I think Devon is regretting merging the companies because he keeps saying we're going to have people that we don't know and we're going to be working for them and our ideals might not be aligned. So then we sorry. So then we see that Abby calls Devon because Chance says he would like to see Dominic. He would like to see Dominic and she says, okay, he says we gotta get used to seeing each other. So she tells Devon that she calls him and tells him that Chance wants to see him, and Devon says, you know what, I'm gonna leave so he can come visit and everything. And then and she says, oh well, he says we all need to get used to seeing each other. And Devon is just like, I've had a day and I just really don't want to see him. He doesn't want to get into it or have any hard feelings. So he's like, no. And so she's like, okay. So then they go over there to Devon's and they're leaving. I said, what's going on? And she says, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought you over here. I should have known it was too soon. And I said, Abby, why are you apologizing to him? Because you told him in the first place not to go over there like that. But Chance wanted to, we need to rip the band-aid off. And he always acting like he's just cool with this whole we're not together and separated thing. That's another thing too. Abby did receive her divorce papers that morning. So, anyways, Devon comes off the elevator because they're in the hallway, and Chance just looks and he looks at Chance, and then they leave. And he's leaving with Dominic because he's going to, he's going to bring him back later. And so then, Devon comforts Abby because she's upset. She's crying about all of this. So then we see Victor and Adam Child. I said, Victor, what kind of father are you? So Victor says he enjoyed having them at the ranch, but Chelsea seems fragile. And he says, yeah, she's been through some, Adam tells him she's been through some things, but she's getting better and she's all right. And so Victor says, well, do you think Connor needs to be spending time with her when she's that fragile and everything? And Adam is like, shuts that down immediately. Like, she's fine. Everything's going to be fine. And Connor loves spending time. He said, well, maybe I want Connor to spend time more at the ranch because then you would have to come over. And so then Victor tells Adam, go ahead and, come back and work for the company. What would it take? How much? What do you need to come back and work for the company? He says, Victor, I don't want to work for the company. And Victoria and Nick would be my boss. I don't want that. He said, all I wanted from you was you to show me some loyalty and love. And Victor said, he was like, Adam said, name one time when you show me unconditional loyalty and love. He said, I just offered you to work from a company. And he was just like, you don't get it. And Victor is just like, you don't get it. And then he proceeds to tell Adam, All you have in your life is Connor. What else do you have? Nothing. You don't have anything else. I said, damn, this is emotional and mental abuse. I mean, and see, that's why I don't like Victor. I know a lot of y'all are Victor fans, but that's why I don't like Victor, because he's really emotionally and mentally abusive to his children. But they all just let him get away with it because it's like, oh, but he cares so much. I'm like, no, he only cares if you're doing exactly what he wants you to do, if you're a puppet like Victoria. But let's move on, because I was like, ugh. So then we see Chelsea, and she calls Billy and tells Billy if he has time, can you come over? I said, girl, you know that man gonna make time for you. So then Billy goes over to Chelsea's place to have, not Chelsea's place, but it is downstairs. He goes over to Crimson Lights, and she says she likes Crimson Lights because it's she can just escape back up to her room if anything becomes too overwhelming. And she tells him how Christmas was and how Adam was so supportive. And she said, Victor is Victor. And I know, girl. And Adam was, I mean, Billy was like, I'm glad Adam was there to support you. And she said, what? And he was like, we're all gonna have to get along on this. And he was like, so I'm glad he was there. And she said, that's nice. And then they go and they talk about other things. As far as, he knows he can't be the only one to support her, other people are going to have to, and he's cool with that. And then she says she talks to her doctor and gets a lot of advice from her, and he said that's good. And then they go and they make this egg drop. But when they started talking about egg drop, I started thinking about Abbott Elementary, when Janine had those eggs up there and they was just dropping and breaking, dropping and breaking. If you don't watch Abbott Elementary, you are you are missing something. That is the best show. But anyways, y'all, that was it with them. They just supporting each other. So then we see Phyllis, Danny, and Daniel, and they're all excited to meet up. Phyllis, I like that color on her, but they're all excited to meet up. And then they finally tell Daniel, tell us what's going on. Like, what happened with you and Heather and Lucy? And he explains that he started being resentful because her job was so successful in his painting career. That took like a stall. And so she was moving up, doing well. And then Lucy was in boarding school. And so it's like he became resentful. And when he became resentful, he made their life hell because he was mean. He probably was making little remark. He was probably hard to live with. And so when she got a job in Europe, Lucy was like, oh, I'm gonna get boarding school next to you. And they were out. They were like, I'm gone, I'm out, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. And so because they're like, it's Christmas and you haven't talked to your daughter, like you need to reach out to Lucy. But anyways, he decided, sorry y'all, Mila touched the toy. So, anyways, he decides. They just tell him you got to make it right, and he said that's what the concept of this game came from. It was a video game Lucy had, and he played it to the end because he felt like if he played it to the end, things would go back to normal. But he doesn't have any misconception about them coming back to him and them being a family. So but he would like at some point for them to be able to talk and everything again. I said, okay, well that's it. But I thought, I don't know. Anyways, as they're talking, he asks Phyllis, are you gonna do it or not? Are you gonna come work for me? And because Danny agrees to score the game. And so Phyllis was like, I don't know, I still hold out hope for Summer. And he says, so she's talking to them about everything, and he says, Mom, why do you want to work for Summer when she doesn't want you there? I want you. Like, work, be with someone, love the one you're with. I want to work with you. I look forward to it. You are meant for this job. Come work over here, and you don't even have to deal with that whole Diane and Jack thing. And she agrees. And then Lily comes up and he tells them all the good news, and they were like, oh wow. And so then Lily talks to Daniel, and she said, are you sure about Phyllis? And he said, I know people, you know have a lot of things about her. He said, but she is going to be perfect for this job. And she was like, okay, you could build a team that you want around you. And so that was it with them. And then Phyllis and Danny talks, and she tells him she was mad at him and very angry when he took Daniel away from her, but she's glad he did because he gave a great foundation. And he said, you did a great job finishing up. And they was like, well, who do we thank for the man he is now? And they said, let's give it to him. And they just shared a nice little moment. And then we see Cricket, y'all, and she's like, because Phyllis posted a picture that Danny and Daniel took, and it got a lot of attention or whatever. And then Phyllis is, I mean, Cricket is like, she's thinking back to, how happy they were together. Then when Phyllis came through and wrecked that and wrecked that all apart, and how Danny years later he wanted to be back with her. They were both single, but she wouldn't do it. And so I don't know if they're gonna have these two on the show permanently or they're just reoccurring. I don't know what's about to happen, but that was the Young and the Restless today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow for an all new episode of What Happened on the Soaps Young and the Restless edition. Now I will be going live on Friday, December the 30th, 2022, 7 on the East Coast, 6 on the Central Time, and 4 on the West Coast. I hope to see you there. It's the last live of the year. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.